All right, this is our final page of the review here. Again, I will be going over the A examples, and I'd like you to pause the video and do the B examples. Okay, so 11A, we are going to solve this system by graphing and identifying the number of solutions. So whenever we're graphing, remember that our equations need to be in slope-intercept form. So our first equation, y equals 3x minus 4, is in slope-intercept form, but our second equation is not. So we need to take this negative 3 and we need to move it to the other side. So to rewrite that equation, we would have y equals negative 1/2 x, and now it will be positive 3. Now we can graph these two equations. So for this first one, y equals 3x minus 4, we are going to start at our y-intercept of negative 4. And we are going to, if you'd like, write that as a fraction. So 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3 over 1. Once you have at least 3 points, you can go ahead and graph that line. Again, equations are solid lines always. Okay. All right, let's graph the second one. Starts at positive 3 and has a slope of negative 1 over 2. So down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2. Okay. They asked us to determine how many times these two lines intersect. They intersect at 1 point, so there is one solution. Okay, and that solution is at 2, 2. All right, try 11B. Remember to first get both equations in slope-intercept form. Okay, 12A. There is a typo on this one. So I've highlighted it with the red 3. So if you can go change that $2 to $3, please. So Mrs. Wilson decided to join a record club to add to her collection. ABC Records has an initial cost of $14 and charges $3 for every record purchased. XYZ Records offers a deal of $5 per record with no initial fee. How many records would Miss Wilson need to, or will she have to purchase to break even, so that it doesn't matter which store she goes with? All right, so let's see. The first store charges, so let's see, store ABC will charge her, let's see, so I'm going to have y equals $3 for every record. We don't know how many records she buys, plus $14. Okay. The XYZ store, their equation is going to be y equals 5 times however many records she buys, and there is no initial fee. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set those two equations equal to each other. And so let's see, since it's true that y equals y, then it must also be true that 3x plus 14 is equal to 5x plus 0. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to squeeze that here in the middle. So I have 3x plus 14 is equal to 5x. I don't need to put that 0 there. All right, we have to get all our x's to one side. Move the smallest value of x. So I'm going to subtract the 3x from both sides. Okay, so I will have 14 is equal to 2x. Divide both sides by 2. And we get x equals 7. So once she purchases 7 records from either store, she will have spent the same amount of money. Okay? All right, go ahead and try 12B, please. Okay, 13A, vocabulary. Write a statement for each of the following equations or inequalities. So for A, this would say that x is greater than or equal to. Okay, remember that equal to. If you just say greater than, that would be incorrect. X is greater than or equal to 18. All right. For B, you could say 27 is less than or equal to, or you can say x is greater than or equal to 27. You can say 27 is at least the value of x, but do with whatever comes to you first. So if I thought about it, I would just say 27 is less than or equal to. Okay, don't go trying to create something fancy. If you read it one way, that's the way I want you to write it. Okay. All right, C, x plus 3 equals 7, or 3 more than x equals 7, or 7 is x plus 3, whatever you see there, okay? All right, I'm going to leave D and E for you, and I'm going to go over to 13B on this one. So consider the equation written below. Which variable represents the input? So on this one, remember that we usually think of y equals mx plus b, and y is the output. So in this case, our output is still there, but in function notation, we now have it as h of t. What that's telling us is that the output for h of t is what when the input is t. All right, so our input value in this one is t. Okay, what does t do to the output of the equation? All right, okay, last one on this review is 14A. Super Painters charges $1 per square foot plus an additional fee of $25 to paint a living room. If X represents the area of the walls of Francesca's living room in square feet and Y represents the cost in dollars, which graph best represents the cost of painting the living room? All right, well, first off, if we're talking about graphs, we need to make sure that our graphs are labeled and see if there's anything that we can cross off based on the label. So first off, we're talking about area and cost. So each table does show area on the bottom and costs off to the y-axis. So that's all okay. So nothing there that we can cross off. Okay. We're talking about spending money. Or we're talking about actually the company making money. So if the company is making money, is it going to be a positive graph or a negative graph? Well, if they want to make money, that should be an increasing graph for them. So I'm going to go ahead and cross off any graphs that are showing a decrease for them. D is a negative graph, so I know I can cross off D. B is also a negative graph, so I'm going to go ahead and cross off B. So I've already eliminated 50% of the answers, so I have a 50-50 chance of getting this question right. Okay, so looking at these two here, they are both positive. Okay, so what's different about them? Well, let's look at their y-intercept. They have a y-intercept as a fee of $25. So if I look at the first equation, it actually starts at 0, 0. So that y-intercept is not 25. And if I look at C, this one here has a y-intercept of 25. So it is going to be C. Okay. All right, try 14B. Make sure that you have any questions written down. Talk with the teacher that's in class or a math coach. Send me a remind, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.